Something big is brewing in oil country after the Oilers capped off their two-game road trip through the West Coast and into California there with a very, very disappointing loss to the Anaheim Ducks at the Honda Center. All that and more today on Oilers Digest as we get into a very questionable lineup decision that head coach Kris Knoblauch made. But before we get into the recap, folks, if you are part of the 19.5% that have subscribed to the channel, we'd like to thank each and every one of you. But if you're part of the bigger bar there, that 80%, folks, what are you waiting for? For any and all Oilers news, Oilers Digest is your place to be through the good and the bad. And unfortunately, yesterday, it was some of the bad. California yuck. Yes, yesterday the Oilers, another Sunday matinee game against the Anaheim Ducks. Going into this one, their last 7 games in Anaheim, the Oilers have won, but that streak was snapped, losing by a score of 5-3 in a very disappointing effort throughout the entire game there, where Anaheim would just seem to be all over Edmonton after Edmonton made it 3-1 with goals from Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard, making it 2-0 halfway through the first period, and then Katagoche streaking down the left side finds it 5-hole on starting goaltender Calvin Pickard, making it 2-1 before the end of the first. Draisaitl makes it 3-1 again on the power play, pretty much Edmonton's best player yesterday and throughout the first part of the season. I mean, too many pedestrians yesterday, Draisaitl, and maybe a guy like Connor Brown. I mean, Connor Brown, he is like the Energizer Bunny. He always keeps going. Those are the only two that seem to be in it yesterday for Edmonton, alongside Calvin Pickard. Say what you want about him. And then Drew Helleson finds a very weird deflection past Calvin Pickard. And then lastly here, Robbie Fabry in the second period, making it 3-3 heading into the third, and it seemed like it was going to be going to overtime like it did on Saturday afternoon against the LA Kings, but Ryan Strome with a wraparound, former Oiler Ryan Strome might I add, with a wraparound on Calvin Pickard. Pickard seemed to make the save on it, but after a coach's challenge, it did cross the line. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers trying to going into panic mode, down 1 with the empty net, and Mason McTavish makes it 5-3 Ducks. And again, just a very disappointing effort. Not much to say about it other than that. Oilers going up 3-1, and then just took their foot off the gas, and Anaheim just completely manhandled them throughout the second period. I believe the shots on goal were 17-8 in favor for Anaheim, and they were willing themselves back into the game. You can see that the shots on goal 32-23 in favor of the Anaheim Ducks. Really not a whole lot of silver linings here for the Edmonton Oilers when it comes to the game stats. Sure, maybe the power play is going 2 for 3 and not allowing a single power play goal from the Anaheim Ducks, although it did come at the expense of Troy Stecher taking 3 penalties yesterday. Not his best game, and also not Darnell Nurse's best game either, going -3 last night. I believe he also went a -3 against the Los Angeles Kings as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but again, hopefully we're not getting classic Darnell Nurse, but again, not his best best weekend, of course, with the California mom's trip. I mean, 2 straight losses in front of your moms. I mean, come on, you got to play a lot better than that. But when it comes to the line stats here, the individual line stats, of course, head coach Kris Knoblauch went with the nuclear McDry line here halfway through the second, and their Corsi for percentage, again, spectacular. But when it comes to the other 3 lines there, I mean, that third line of Janmark, Henrique, and Brown, of course, Henrique had a better game compared to Saturday, but that's not a very high bar to clear whatsoever. And then, the Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Podkolzin line, I've been a fan of it at times, but it was getting caved in before Knoblauch made that switch. And even, the fourth line there with Kapanen, Ryan, and Perry, they have had better games, of course, but the Oilers' bottom 6, not a whole lot to do other than that. And then Draisaitl saying, not our best. I think we let off the gas a little bit after the first 10 to 13 minutes. Kind of gave them a chance to get back into it, just defending the little things, taking care of the puck, valuing the puck. If you have the puck, you're not going to have to defend as much, which kind of goes without saying. That's pretty much hockey. If you have the puck, you don't have to defend at all. That is my head coaching philosophy. And then Kris Knoblauch adding on, I think we put in a strong effort in the third period, but we shouldn't have been in that situation when we're up 2 goals. That's a game we ought to continue playing hard, and I don't think we did. They were taking that all night, taking pucks to the net, and they had a few wraps, and they capitalized on that last one. Of course, Darnell Nurse sort of letting Ryan Strome take that wrap around the net and making it 4-3 Ducks. Of course, not a whole lot to say about that game other than burn the game tape. I mean, if you watched it along with I did, Again, the Oilers, after going up 3-1, they seem to do that where they play down to lesser opponents like the Anaheim Ducks, and they just kind of seem to flutter their way through the rest of the hockey game. And then when they play, better teams like, say, like a Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Vegas, that's when they seem to turn it up. But the inconsistency is what really kills me here. Is, the Oilers, we know what they're capable of, firing on all cylinders, offensively, defensively, goaltending-wise. But yesterday, just didn't see that at all from the Oilers. And again, it just, I know what they're capable of, and it just frustrates me when they, again, play down to a lesser opponent. I mean, they're still a National Hockey League team with the Anaheim Ducks, but coming into this one, the statistics, I mean, Anaheim's, second last in the Pacific Division. The Oilers trying to claw their way to that first spot, overtaking Vegas, but opportunity did not come knocking for the Edmonton Oilers. But here, the real story here, folks, with our What's Next segment. Yes, yesterday you could see there was a familiar face that you did not see with the game stats there. And that was Jeff Skinner with, before the game yesterday, Tony Brower from Oilers TV saying, Kris Knoblauch confirms Derek Ryan coming in for Jeff Skinner for Sunday's tilt against the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, Jeff Skinner and Kris Knoblauch don't really know what's going on there. I know Kris Knoblauch was asked, what did Jeff Skinner need to do to get more ice time? And Knoblauch with a very milquetoast answer, just play better. I mean, you gotta give a little more than that. I mean, you can't really play better when you are always in the bottom six. And the Oilers practice today, the line's coming from Bob Stauffer. You can see that the top line remains the same there. But Jeff Skinner, an extra forward today. Ooh, that is very tough, especially when, he's brought in, to be put on Leon Draisaitl's line alongside Arvidsson. I mean, you have 2/3 of that line at the start of the season, with Podkolzin being the odd man out in favor, or Jeff Skinner being the odd man out in favor of Podkolzin, pardon me. But it's just a very questionable decision from Knoblauch. I mean, pretty much give him a shot in the arm, or just saying, I don't want Jeff Skinner on this team. It's kind of weird. I mean, Skinner has scored at least 20 goals in 10 of his 15 NHL seasons. That should warn him and extend a look in the top six. He only spent 34 minutes on the line with Draisaitl and Arvidsson, 30 minutes with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman, but 92 minutes in that bottom six with Henrique and Connor Brown. No disrespect to either two of those, but I mean, Skinner plays better when he is given, substantial line mates. And Henrique and Brown, maybe, a couple years ago, but in 2024, not so much. I mean, Jeff Skinner, he's brought in to finish. The Oilers had finishing problems in the Stanley Cup Finals against Sergei Bobrovsky, and they brought him in, but don't really know what's going on there. I mean, understandably, the coaching staff doesn't want to upset the apple cart too much within the top six. It might be a preference thing with Draisaitl or McDavid not wanting Skinner on their line, but avenues exist to find Skinner more premium ice time. I mean, Corey Perry routinely gets a shift or two in a game with McDavid and Draisaitl. Why cannot Skinner be afforded that same luxury? This is a career 11.7% shooter in all situations before the season, someone in 6 30-goal campaigns. A couple of more high-quality looks could do him in the team wonders. And just breaking down the stats here, I mean, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Skinner together have only spent 5 minutes and 12 seconds time on ice, but I mean, of course, your 4 percentage 80% and a Fenwick 4 percentage of 75, and even going down here the list, McDavid and Skinner again. Not the greatest numbers, but I mean, if you put all three of those together, like McDavid, Draisaitl, and Skinner as a nuclear option, you're replacing Zach Hyman. That could be worth a look. And even Draisaitl and Skinner together, 56, almost 57 minutes, and still the numbers not that bad. So it's just puzzles me why Knoblauch is having Jeff Skinner in the doghouse. I mean, again, Jeff Skinner, he's been criticized. I think he's minus 11 on the year so far, but I mean, he's been in the bottom six. The bottom six, again, not the greatest, so they will get scored on, but Jeff Skinner, again, just a question mark. I've been supporting him since day one on this Oiler team, but Kris Knoblauch not seeing the same vision with me at all there. But the Oilers, their last game of the calendar year against the Utah Hockey Club comes tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain Time on Sportsnet. And not only do we have the Oilers on New Year's Eve, but we also have Bo Akey in Team Canada taking on Paul Fisher in Team USA in the World Juniors. But it just keeps going from, bad to worse here. If you thought Jeff Skinner got no ice time, I mean, Bo Akey continuing to get shafted by Dave Cameron and the Team Canada coaching staff when it comes to his time on ice. The time on ice lows tonight against Germany. Last night, of course, Carson Raykoff with 7 minutes and 48 seconds, and Bo Akey with 2 minutes and 48 seconds. And the thing that really gets me here, folks, Akey had one shift in the second and none in the third, and the time on ice distribution between the defensemen is quite shocking. There you can see there the discrepancies when it comes to the time on ice. Of course, 14 minutes and 34 seconds against Latvia, but that was due to losing Matthew Schaefer due to the collarbone injury for him, but he struggled to get much ice time for Canada at the World Juniors, and it comes to no surprise. I mean, Dave Cameron, again, not the greatest coach that Team Canada has had at the World Juniors historically there. Of course, he did lead that 2011 meltdown against Russia in the gold medal game, and yet he keeps getting brought back. You can see the distribution: Tanner Molendijk, Andrew Gibson, Sam Dickinson, and Oliver Bonk all getting over 20 minutes there, and then Bo Akey, I mean, 2 minutes and 48 seconds. That is just criminal. And, Team Canada had trouble with the breakouts last night, especially against a team like Germany. And Bo Akey, he's really good at that transitional part with Barrie in the OHL. But Team Canada in politics, can't say I am surprised. But on the other side, with Paul Fisher in Team USA, it is more of the same. You can see there I circled his time on ice against Finland yesterday. Of course, he was also the 7th defenseman for Team USA. 6 shifts for a total of 5 minutes and 19 seconds. So if you had any hope in the Oilers prospect pool when it comes to defensemen, that may have made it worse. But I mean, Bo Akey, he's stellar with the Barrie Colts. But again, Team USA against Canada, New Year's Eve in Ottawa. Last time that happened, it was the John Tavares show. But who knows what it might be tomorrow. And of course, again, Utah's first time to Rogers Place in Edmonton. So lots of history to be made. That is it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about yesterday's game. I gave you my thoughts. Well, it wasn't many, but of course, actions speak louder than words with the Oilers, and the poor effort just made me ask more questions than I ever bothered to. But let me know down in the comments what you also think about, Bo Akey and Paul Fisher at the World Juniors. That is it for today's episode, folks. Have yourselves a fantastic New Year's. Don't do anything dumb. Take care of each other, and let's have a fantastic start to 2025. That is it for today's video. Take care. I'm Matt.